Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Chun Up here on JoyClicks. My name's Christian Buckley, and today, this week was like a weird week, but today, crazy news, lots of news. Spider-Man.
Hey everyone.
Is what we're talking about today. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, despite the Batman shirt. I love Batman too. I was gonna make this episode about Batman actually, until this morning we got official news that Sony and Marvel have reunited. The kinship is reborn. Spider-Man is continuing his run in the MCU, and that's so exciting because one of my favorite things about this version of Spider-Man is it's the promise of the future. Spider-Man we have now, Spider-Man at Homecoming, very much was influenced, chaperoned by Iron Man. And Spider-Man is not Iron Man. That's the whole point of Far From Home. I know a lot of people didn't enjoy Homecoming because of the heavy-handed Iron Man-ness of this version of Spider-Man. But what I like about it is the fact that after Far From Home, after the Infinity Saga films, we have a sense of future for this Spider-Man in a way that I feel like we've never gotten on screen before. I love Tobey Maguire, grew up on those obviously, like a lot of people my age. Were some of my favorite movies growing up. Love Tobey, respect to the Sam Raimi trilogy. But the thing with that is it felt pretty consistently the same for Peter. I know with Spider-Man 2, he obviously went through the Spider-Man No More arc, but it still felt like we're in here and this is Spider-Man. This is our concept of Spider-Man. So with Homecoming, when Homecoming came around, after the Amazing Spider-Man films, which have their merits, we went back to basics in a way that we haven't seen before. I really like high school Peter Parker. I think it's a aspect of the character that really gets brushed aside in the Hollywood versions of these characters. Like in Spider-Man 1, the Sam Raimi film, he's in high school for like the first act, then he just graduates and no big deal about it. But Peter getting his powers in high school I think is so important to his character for the long-term growth, and the promise of the MCU is the long term. So after Homecoming, Spider-Man, this take on Spider-Man was pretty divisive, you know? Like one of my buddies that I work with isn't a huge fan of Homecoming, loves Far From Home though. Far From Home had a very tough thing to answer with the fact that, spoilers for Avengers Endgame, Iron Man's dead now. We need someone to pick up the face of not only this universe, but in the universe, we need somebody to pick up the slack left behind by Tony Stark. Peter Parker, from the kinship he had with Tony, would be expected to pick this up moving forward. It's Spider-Man, obviously, like Spider-Man's clearly going to be a big face. And Far From Home, I thought, did a great job of evolving the Homecoming and Infinity War and Endgame Peter Parker into a Peter Parker that's more familiar, still uniquely this version of Peter Parker, but it's progressing this arc, it's progressing this story of becoming his own hero, coming into his own, and becoming the Spider-Man we know and love, like the Spider-Man in Spider-Man PS4. He's my favorite. Would love if Tom Holland eventually got to that level of being Spider-Man. And I think that's where we're going. I think that's where we were going before this whole shenanigans went down between Sony and Disney. We're back on track now, and I'm excited. I'm very excited. I'm a little worried because, like, yeah, we have a date. We have a date for Spider-Man 3. We have confirmation Kevin Feige's producing Spider-Man 3. Amy Pascal is also involved as well, like she was with Kevin Feige for the first two Homecoming series Spider-Man films. So they're doing one more, for sure. July 16, 2021, that's for sure. They're also tying Tom Holland into another Marvel Studios film, presumably the next Avengers. But there's a little doubt in my mind, like what's to say in 2021 summer, around this time, we're not in the same position we're in right now. A little worrisome, worth considering. But for now, I'm enjoying the moment, you know. Spider-Man's back. He didn't really go anywhere. Like, I'm sure Spider-Man 3 was going to be fine, you know. They have a great team. I think John Watts is doing a great job with this trilogy so far. and I love his humor. I think it's great. The one thing I'd love to see them improve on, though, obviously, I have that fondness for Tobey Maguire, so like, Spider-Man swinging through New York City, Manhattan specifically, more of that please. Loved the ending of Far From Home for that reason. If Spider-Man works out to be the face moving forward, if Tom Holland is the next Robert Downey Jr., hell yeah, that sounds awesome. But we have a lot to explore with this character that hasn't been explored before. Let me see him mess around with the X-Men. Let me see him go through college. Let me see him build a relationship with someone over time and have that loss feel heavy in a way that feels real. Like, I know I don't want to go off into theories or anything, but like, obviously MJ is kind of an amalgamation of a lot of different relationships Peter Parker's had in different media. And traditionally, Gwen Stacy's the first big major girlfriend thing for Peter. So like, what if we get used to Zendaya MJ for a while and then Goblin shows up and drops her off a bridge? Like, can you imagine that loss? Getting ahead of myself though. I'm excited for Spider-Man, but sound off down below. I want to hear what you have to say. Are you excited? Were you more excited to see Spider-Man be fully in control by Sony Studios? I want to hear from you because I know there's a lot of division on Tom Holland, Peter Parker, but I have faith. I'd love to see him come into a full-fledged 28-year-old Peter Parker, saving the world, and passing the torch to Miles Morales like Robert Downey Jr. did to Tom Holland. That's going to do it for the episode, though. I hope you enjoyed Chun Up, the debut episode. Gonna mess around with this formula, see what works, see what doesn't. But this is a show I've wanted to do for a long time. Thank you. It's your reason. You're the reason that this is happening. We hit 1,000 subscribers, so I'm feeling a little daring, you know, I want to try some new things. So thanks to you, this is happening. So thank you for that, because it's something I wanted to do for a long time. Also, while we're here, I'll shout out, made a Patreon for JoyClicks, because getting into the real world soon. Would love to keep doing this stuff, so if this can work out, if it turns into something that I can do full-time, that'd be incredible. But Chun Up, expected every
Monday.
I'm so excited to make this show happen. Thank you so much for everything. And next week we'll talk Batman, I promise. As long as like nothing major happens. So thank you again, and until next time, good vibes and good game. Before we go though, I do want to say one quick thing. I am pretty sure I will eat a hat if, no, I'll like eat something that I'll eat a spoonful of sour cream. I hate sour cream. I will eat a spoonful of sour cream if the whatever game WB Montreal is teasing does not come out before the next gen of consoles. It's not, like, come on. It's been like 6 years, they're gonna do it. All right, see ya.
Okay.